Have you ever had something go terribly wrong and then years later it becomes one of your favorite stories to tell? That moment when what felt like a disaster transformed into a cherished memory. Today I'm sharing 2 of my own wedding day disasters that, looking back, have become some of our favorite memories. These moments that had me freaking out are now stories that we love to tell. And more importantly, you'll hear how perspective shifts can transform relationship disasters into meaningful memories. Why imperfection creates stronger bonds than perfection ever could, and how to apply this mindset to your own relationship challenges. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a future tip. And if you want to take this work deeper, I've got a no-cost email course called The Overthinker's Guide to Love. You can find it on my website at livebeyonddoubt.com, and I'll put a link in the show notes. So picture this. It's my wedding day 16 years ago. Everything has been meticulously planned. I am a hyper-organized over-planner, try to think of everything down to the nitty-gritty detail. The church is beautifully decorated. We've got beautiful flowers, pink, white, yellow, and I loved daisies. Daisies were the theme. The Gerber daisies, by the way. Just beautiful. We had these candles creating a warm and romantic and inviting atmosphere. Our friends and family are all dressed up. Everyone's seated. Music plays. And everything on this day is just going so perfect. The ceremony starts. I'm standing at the back of the church with my dad, and my heart is pounding with excitement and nervousness. My bridesmaids and the groomsmen, they're all ready at the altar. And my soon-to-be husband is standing there looking so handsome. My father gives me away. We stand up there together, my husband and I. We're getting ready to do our vows. And then, boom. I'm like, what just happened? And I look over, and one of our groomsmen is on the floor. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is he okay? We quickly realized not only did he pass out, because, that would just be too simple. Instead, he fell like sideways, and in trying to catch himself, he knocked over a dozen candles that were set up across the altar. So not only do we hear a boom, but there's like this huge gasp from everybody in the church. Candles are going everywhere. We're making sure there's no fire happening. There's hot wax on the church carpet. And the pastor is standing there with his Bible open. We're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? It was all such a blur. The groomsman's wife helps him out. No fire happened, thankfully. We're finishing the ceremony, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, I feel so bad. There's all this wax on the carpet. Even though it was so well planned, you can't plan for someone passing out. Then we're down a groomsman, right? And the altar is uneven. Now, I'm not about to be a bridezilla and go crazy and do all the things. At the end, when the groomsmen and the bridesmaids are walking out, and normally they pair up. And so at the very end, I thought, oh my gosh, I hope one of my ladies isn't left up there by herself. Luckily, the last groomsman to walk down the aisle totally improvised and just held out both elbows. It was like, come on, ladies. It was hilarious. And when he did that, everyone in the church started clapping. It was really something. For your wedding day, sometimes you get so caught up in how things should be that you can easily forget why you're there. And here's the thing, 16 years later, we're still laughing about the fainting groomsmen. And then even the last groomsman holding out both elbows, being like, come on, ladies. Oh my gosh, it was epic. And honestly, a way better laugh than I could have ever planned. And thankfully, the church was replacing the carpet the very next week anyway. And guess what? They have now made a forever permanent rule, no candles for a wedding. So sorry, church, you have us to thank for that. And yet the wedding surprises weren't over yet. We did the reception where we celebrated, we danced, we cut the cake. My husband and I love red velvet cake. It was fabulous. And so eventually we wrapped up the party, and my husband and I were scheduled to catch an early flight to Florida to board a Carnival cruise for our honeymoon. Y'all with any food allergies or celiac, Carnival cruise is the way to go. So anyway, my husband and I wake up early. We're exhausted, right? The wedding day can feel so long. You're tired, you barely eat, you're trying to enjoy this brand new life together, but you also got to be thankful to the guest, and it's just so many things happening, right? But we got to wake up early for this flight, right? We grab a quick McDonald's breakfast on the way to the airport, and we're feeling that newlywed bliss. So the plan was, we're driving my car, which was this black Scion XB. Loved my car. We're driving it to my parents' house, and then my parents are going to take us to the airport. We're newlyweds. We got to cut costs, right? We didn't want to pay the airport parking fees, y'all. Come on. We were in our early 20s at the time. It's dark. We load up our luggage from my Scion over to my dad's van, and we're on our way to the airport. All of a sudden, my husband's like, my ring. What? My wedding ring is gone. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, are you for real right now? We've barely been married 24 hours and he's already lost his wedding ring. I was like, wow, if I lose something, it gets stuck in my mind constantly. I cannot stop thinking about this lost thing. I used to spend a whole weekend turning the house upside down trying to find this one thing. In the case of the wedding ring, we pulled the car over and we hadn't been going very long down the road, because here's my thing. We're newlyweds. We gotta have our wedding rings. Like, how does this even look like a wedding couple without a wedding ring? We're emptying our pockets. We're checking the luggage between the seats, under the floor mats. As much as I loved my Scion XB, I was willing to tear that dash apart. I was going to find this wedding ring, because I'm like, maybe when he adjusted the air, it fell off his hand and went into the vent. Then it's down in the air system or in the engine. Your mind can do crazy things. We did all the searching, but the ring was nowhere to be found. We had a plane to catch. Clock was ticking. That panic was starting to come up, and I thought, it's just not worth missing our flight. We're just going to have to go without it. Maybe we'll buy him something in Cozumel. And I had to do my best to not let that ruin our honeymoon. By the time we landed in Florida, I feel like I'd run through 100 million scenarios of where the ring could possibly be. And I, again, was doing my best to be like, just stay in the moment. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. You'll get him another one. It's okay that we don't have a wedding ring for these honeymoon pictures. No big deal. And then I get a phone call. It was my mom. She said, "You'll never believe what I found." Guess where she found it? In the trash. Yes. Moms are so great, right? My mom dug through the trash and found his wedding ring in the McDonald's bag. Apparently, when my husband was reaching for his breakfast biscuit, the ring must have slipped off into the bag. So we threw the McDonald's bag in the trash. I felt relief. At the same time, we were still a whole flight and several states away from having the ring. So I had to choose to be happy and laugh it off despite it not being this picture perfect honeymoon. These two wedding day mishaps taught me something powerful about relationships. The events themselves do not define our experience, but it's our reaction to the event and the meaning we assign to these events. In both situations, I could have easily looked at these events as terrible disasters ruining our perfect wedding day. But with a shift in perspective, they became stories that were funny, memorable, meaningful, and we still tell them over a decade later. This is true for all relationships. There are unexpected challenges, those moments when things don't go according to plan. These aren't interruptions to your love story. They are your love story. So think about, when you look back on your relationship years from now, what will you remember most vividly? Will it be the days when everything went perfectly, or will it be the time you went on a road trip and got lost, yet found an amazing restaurant, or when you both got food poisoning and took turns caring for each other? My husband and I have been there too in our college days. It's often these unplanned moments that we see each other most clearly, not as idealized versions, but as real humans responding to real life together. I encourage you to hold on to these reminders of the good times and the positives. Stay in the moment, enjoy your relationship. And if you're ready to transform how you approach challenges in your relationship, I invite you to join my webinar called 3 Shifts in Breaking Free from Relationship Anxiety. I'll put a link in the show notes for you to join. Now you know how perspective shifts can transform relationship challenges into meaningful memories. But what if you're dealing with deeper relationship doubts when it comes to sex? I've got a special guest coming next week to talk about sexology and how to reconnect connect with your partner to have deeper intimacy. And last but not least, shout out to my husband. Happy anniversary, babe. Love you to the moon and back. Thanks, y'all, for being here, and stay blessed by the best.